Sailors passing on the street, are you ready for peace? Ships are filling up fast, are you ready for ease? Forget bad memories and leave those hurting knees behind. Birds are filling up the sky, are you willing to try? Right. Sing along as they hum and be fulfilled. Many more will come, many more under the sun. Pack your finest suit. We will keep it steady. We will be the confetti. If we fail, we just reboot. Grass is greener on this side. Are you ready for new? New beginnings, new pride. Let your spirit shine through. Many more will come, oh, many more. The sun, pack your finest suit, and we will keep it steady.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Tracy, and welcome back to Just Dig It Farms. You know, we haven't taken a garden tour in a really long time, so I think today is a great day to take a walk around the garden together. But first, I gotta go take care of all of these babies that are just yelling at me. They are ready for breakfast. I got Pixie's bottle here. I gotta feed her, feed the goats, let Clyde and Champ out. You can hear Champ over here barking. I let him out last because he is a wild man. I have to keep my eyes on him. Clyde's ready to get out of there, aren't you, buddy? Huh? Clyde's doing so good, y'all. He is doing so good and he's growing so fast. He's gonna be a daggum horse.
We just reboot. Sailors passing on the street, are you ready for peace? Ships are filling up fast, are you ready for ease? Forget bad memories and leave those hurting knees behind. Birds are filling up the sky, are you willing to try? Right. Sing along as they hum and be fulfilled. Many more will come, many more under the sun. Pack your finest suit. We will keep it steady. we will be the confetti. If we fail, we just reboot. Grass is greener on this side. Are you ready for new? New beginnings, new pride. Let your spirit shine through. Many more will come, oh, many more. Under the sun, pack your finest suit, and we will keep it steady. We will be the confetti, and if we fail, we just reboot.
Pixie's doing so good. She's a lot smaller than everybody else, but she's growing and she's doing good and she's happy. Now, Pixie is the only baby goat that we're going to be keeping. We're selling all the rest of them. We've sold one to Wes and Angie, and my friend Debbie Boudelier is buying 2 of them. We've got her all figured out, her pasture and how she's going to build her home and everything for the goats, and she'll be coming to get 2 of them in a couple weeks. And then all we'll have left is 2 boys for sale. So if any of you guys are local to us and you would like one of our Nigerian dwarfs, just give me a shout out and let me know. They're precious. I can guarantee you they've been well taken care of and loved. They have been dehorned and they've had both of their CD and T vaccinations, and they're weaning off of their moms right now. They're still milking, still nursing, but they're getting so big they can't hardly fit under their moms. So it's within a week it's going to be time for them to be separated and go to their new homes. So if any of you guys are local to us and you want one of our Nigerian dwarfs to give them a really good home, just give me a shout.
Forget bad memories and leave those hurting knees behind. Birds are filling up the sky. Are you willing to try? Sing along as they hum and be fulfilled. Oh. Many more will come, many more under the sun. Pack your finest suit. We will keep it steady. We will be the confetti. If we fail, we just reboot. Grass is greener on this side. Are you ready for new? New beginnings, new pride. Let your spirit shine through. Many more will come, oh, many more under the sun. Pack your finest suit, and we will keep it steady. We will be the confetti, and if we fail, we just reboot. 'cause nothing can hold us back. Oh, nothing can take.
I am in Central Alabama, Zone 8, and today is August the 2nd. It is really, really hot out here. Humidity is already high. It's early morning and I'm already sweating. It's already hot. It's been dry. And I just want to show you guys what is blooming in the gardens, what's happening in the gardens in August here in the South. So we're going to start right here in the cottage gardens around the house. The limelights are looking spectacular right now. They started blooming in July. They're still growing strong and they are gorgeous. Now this one is limelight. And this one is limelight. And we just did our new porch edition here back in August. And these beds here around this side of the garden were planted in October. So these haven't even been here a full year yet, and they're already putting on a little bit of a show. Now these have been here a couple of years. I want to say it's 3 years, but I'm not exactly sure how long they've been here. I need to go back and look. But they're doing great. So this is lime light, and it can get anywhere from 6 to 8 feet tall. And it's pretty heat tolerant, drought tolerant. It's just really beautiful because it is adding so much beauty to the garden in a time of year when a lot of other things are just fizzled out. It's just too hot for them. But limelights love it. In my containers here going up to my porch and my front door, I've got boxwoods, dichondra, silver falls, which I just absolutely love. My million bells have played out. They've pretty much played out. They got burned up. And then below them, I have just a beautiful covering of vinca. I love this. It's icy pink is what this one was called. Now over here, I've got some million bells still going a little bit. Back here, you can see I've got an arborvitae. This is emerald green arborvitae. I got one there. And I've got one over here. And it's small right now, but it's going to get probably to the top of my rail here, and I think that's really going to be lovely right here on each side of my staircase whenever it grows. I just planted those this fall too, and they're doing really well. I've got my little Verdun roses. Remember, everything got a really good haircut just not long ago, just a few weeks ago. So Verdun is starting to rebloom again. I love this little sweet rose. Lamb's ears. Now this is old-fashioned garden chrysanthemums, and the ones I have in my garden are mostly Ryan's pink, just because I love that translucent color of Ryan's pink in the garden. It's very, very pretty. But what I do with these is in July, when I gave all my perennials a haircut, this is growing like all spring and summer. It's growing. The foliage is growing, and then it'll start blooming in the fall. But what I do in July is I come in and I give it a little bit of a haircut. See, like these tall ones sticking up here? I should have cut that one down some. Just a little bit, just about that much. Just kind of mound it and shape it a little bit. Jason at Petals taught me the reason that we want to do that is because it's putting on all of this new foliage growth. And by the time it starts blooming, it's just so heavy with all of the stems of the foliage growth that the flowers will just lay over and fall over. But if you give them a little bit of a haircut around July, then when it starts blooming in the fall, it won't be so top heavy and your flowers will stand up straighter longer. So that's what I always do. When I come in July and give my perennials a bit of a haircut, I always give my old-fashioned garden chrysanthemums a little bit of a trim too. The salvia is looking beautiful. This is Henry Dulberg. All of your pollinators love it, beneficials love it, and it just keeps on performing from spring. Look at that dragonfly. From spring all the way through frost, it just keeps on performing. So I've got Henry Dillberg just kind of plugged in all along here in the garden, and I love it. Love it, love it. My boxwoods back here are finally growing. My plan for these when they get growing is I'm going to take these, I want them to kind of grow together, make me like a little wall here under this window. Then I've got a trio of the arborvitaes right here in the corner, and they're going to be really lovely when they get taller, kind of fill up the corner of these windows. And then I've got 2 more wintergreen boxwoods here, and I'm going to let them grow together and make like a wall there too. So I think that will really be lovely. We'll have like a wall there, this trio of arborvitaes filling up that corner, and then another wall there. I think that'll really be pretty. And then in front of that evergreen foundation structural wall there, I've got all of these different perennials and shrubs that bloom at different times of the year to add interest to the garden. Now, to be able to achieve this and have a beautiful evergreen backdrop foundation so that it's green all year, and then to have the layers that come in front of it with shrubs, perennials, annuals, ground covers to get that cottage look, then your beds have got to be deep. They've kind of got to be deep beds to be able to achieve all of those different layers in your bed. My beds here are about, at some places, they're 12 and 14 feet deep beds. And at other places, they're only like 10 feet. Because of the way my beds are designed, I've got all different depth sizes here. But at some points, my bed depth is like 14 feet deep. And that way, I'm able to achieve all of these different beautiful layers in my cottage garden. So in front of my evergreen foundation here, I've got those salvias, and then I've got some roses here. And this is fairy roses. It's a little small polyantha rose. And I gave them a really good haircut, but they're starting to try to bloom out again. Then in front of those, I've got little ground cover type perennials, and this is catmint. I just love catmint. I love that silvery kind of foliage to it, the little purple blooms. This just keeps going from spring until frost, and I always use this at the base of my roses. On our bed borders, we've used railroad ties for straight lines, and we've used flagstone rock for our circles, just to create a lot of interest in the bed line. So I've got the trio of the 3 arborvitaes there, which is right in the middle of the windows. Then I'll come down in here, I've got lamb's ear, but right behind this lamb's ear, I've got Bobo hydrangeas. There's one that made it. Now I had one here and I had one there, and they both died this year in the drought. So I'll be replacing those this fall. So the limelight hydrangeas back here, that's a paniculata hydrangea, and they love sun. They're full sun hydrangeas. That's what they want. That's what they need. If you put them in the shade, they're not going to perform very well for you. They want full sun. So the limelight is going to get really big, like 6 to 8 feet tall, maybe even taller. The Bobo hydrangeas that I have right here that I just showed you, they're only going to be like 2 or 3 feet tall. And then over here, you can see, I've got little lime hydrangeas. And they're like about a 4 or 5 foot hydrangea. So they're all in the paniculata family, but they're all different sizes. So my idea in my garden here is I've got these beautiful big limelights there. I've got the Bobos here, which if they were blooming, the bloom looks just like that. It's just a smaller plant. And then over here, I've got the the little lime hydrangeas. And I've got repetition all throughout the garden of the same bloom, the same color, but I've got different sizes where it's applicable for what size I need that plant to be. So we really want to try to use repetition in our gardens because it just makes it flow so much better. It just makes your eye move so much better. It just creates harmony in your garden. Now we'll move on to Quietness Rose. She is a very special rose. I really wouldn't say like the foliage and everything on her is the prettiest of all roses, but her bloom is spectacular and her story is a beautiful story. So I've got Quietness here as like a specimen rose. She has a beautiful evergreen backdrop. When all of that fills in back there, it's just going to be really, really pretty and make a gorgeous backdrop for her. And then as you come in front of her, we've got some Vaccinium Darwai, Rose's Blush, Little Dwarf Blueberries right there, right here. And then I've got those chrysanthemums. So she's treated kind of like a specimen rose in my garden here. Then we move on to the little limes, which are just magnificent here. I mean, isn't that beautiful? This is actually the corner of our house. That is the front of our house, and that is actually the side of the house, but that's what you see when you drive up into our farm. That's the road up there. So right here, I have the little limes. Behind the little limes over there, I have a dwarf tea olive. This one is a dwarf, so it's only going to get about 8 feet tall versus the regular tea olives get, gosh, 15, 20 feet tall they can. This one's only going to get about 8, possibly 10 feet tall. And I chose this one because I didn't want it to get too big. It's very slow growing, so it's taking a long time. But when it does get grown, it's going to be really pretty, filling out this whole corner, softening that edge. In front of the tea olive is the little lime hydrangeas. And then this tree right here is a tulip magnolia, and it's the pink and white one, and it is going to be glorious right here. So it's going to get really tall right here, but I'm going to keep it canopied up. And we needed a tree here because of that blazing hot sun just comes right in those windows, which is my office, and those windows, which is our son's room. So it gets really hot in those rooms, and we needed a tree here. We needed some shade. So I put this really pretty tulip magnolia tree here. In front of that, we've got Lamarne roses. And then we have lamb's ear. As we come down the garden, I've got a gardenia back here, which there's a few little blooms on here. They smell so good. So fragrant. This is evergreen. In front of my gardenia, these are crystal fairy roses. And they're starting to bloom again after their big haircut. Really pretty white ones. Of course, catmint in front of them. And then as we come down, these are my pitiful camellia here. It's pink perfection, but it's not doing well here at all. You can see it's got lichen on it, which is just a sign of stress. So it's under stress. Maybe it's planted too deep. Maybe it got too much water. Maybe it didn't get enough water. It's just a sign of stress. And I don't know. I'm probably going to yank these out. I've got one there. I've got one down there that's starting to actually finally grow. And I hate to take that one out. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do here, but camellias are really slow growing. And I knew that when I put it here, but I just love this pink perfection camellia, and that's what I wanted here. So I thought I'd give it a try. It's taking forever. But I want the camellias to fill up this whole space right here. See all this negative space? It's waiting on that camellia to grow. I don't really know what I'm going to do about this yet. I'm going to think that one over and do something this fall. So as you come down, we've got a wall of arborvitaes here, like a little trio in front of that, my fountain. Then I've got my wintergreen boxwoods repeated from the front. And when they grow together, I'm going to make like a little wall right around my fountain. In front of that, we've got crystal fairy, and then we've got catmint. And you can see, this is like the center of the side of the house. So I've made a circle rock bed just to accentuate the importance of that. This is the Bobo hydrangeas that I have in the front where 2 of them had died and I've only got 1 left. This is Bobo. See how much smaller it is than the little lime? So I was repeating the Bobo here from the front circle of the house. Then as we come down, this is another Pink Perfection camellia here. This one's starting to finally grow, so I just don't know what I'm going to do about the other one yet. More chrysanthemums. More crystal fairies. This thing just is not growing at all. Gene picked that out at Home Depot. He wanted it. We're trying to cover this power box here that's so ugly. And it just won't grow. It's so slow. Our plan is, as you move on around to the back of our yard, is right here between the house and the storage building here. There's going to be a really pretty gate and a wall, a living wall to like join these 2 spaces. And then as you walk around back here, this will be like an outdoor living area. So this will be a kitchen. I want like a really cool fireplace looking over the creek there. Now this beautiful idea for this area back here is way down on the list of all of our priorities and things that we've got to get done and want to get done on the farm here. But you've got to dream, you've got to plan, you've got to have vision. And eventually I will see this happen. So it's on our list and it's gonna be beautiful when we get it there. For right now, I've just got my garden beds around the house. So we've got an arborvitae here. One of my Pieris japonicas died this summer. It got too dried out and it died in a drought. But I've got 2 others right here. That one's doing really well. I had to replace that one last year. So that one's 2 years old, that one's 1 year old, and that one died. Now I've got little things tucked all in here. I've got creeping Jenny tucked around my arborvitae. I've got a little tassel fern in there. I've got some ajuga. We've got angel vine that's just like taken over as a ground cover here. And I love it. It's keeping everything, it's keeping the weeds down. And I think it's really pretty. That's a camellia. I just planted this little bed this year. That is a bear's breeches, Acanthus mollis. And these are thrift phlox, white. See my beautiful sea of angel vine here. I just love it. Something's been digging in my, I don't know what did that. I just noticed it. I've got Lenten roses all throughout the beds back here. This is mountain laurel and more Lenten roses. Some Solomon seal, trying to make it. Camellias. This is hydrangeas. These are the big mop head old-fashioned hydrangeas. I've repeated the same thing here. And this is a viburnum. This is spring bouquet viburnum. Has beautiful blooms in the spring, and then it makes these metallic blue looking berries on it. I've got microphylla hydrangeas there and there starting. These are camellias and hydrangea. This is a banana shrub, which is a tree. Forming it into a really cool tree, and I'm limbing it up so we have this canopy and then the plants underneath it. I've got Lenten roses here. I've got a variegated euonymus over there that I transplanted from my mother-in-law's house. And that's going to be really pretty because it's going to make a ground cover and just fill up this bed. And last year I moved my hostas over here. They were just getting too much sun where they were, and they're doing so much better over here. This is a rhododendron. Let's go back to this banana shrub for a minute. When it blooms, it smells like ripe bananas. Very cool. Now these are the beds that we just created this past fall when we finished the porch edition. So they're very small. I've got gumpo azaleas here. We've got arborvitae. These are more wintergreen boxwoods, so I'm going to make like a wall here. For those of you that are new to our channel and maybe you just don't know, we purchased a manufactured home. And that's what we live in here, a manufactured home. And it's actually it's called a tag and a half, which means it's a double wide and a half. And we love it. We absolutely love it. Now it does have, you know, a few issues that we've got to come back and do because we bought the model that was sitting out on the lot. We bought that because it was like unbelievable how much the price difference was. And we knew that we could come in and do the things that needed to be done to it later on down the road. So this is a manufactured home. And all around the manufactured home is a vinyl skirting. And we didn't want to put money into like a rock foundation skirting or anything like that. That was a lot more money. We didn't want to do that because I knew I was going to have garden beds all the way around the house. And then we were going to be putting in a really big porch here that was going to cover most of the front of the house. And eventually we want to extend this porch out and come down this side a little bit so that we have like an overlook where you can kind of walk out and overlook and see this creek here, this beautiful view of the creek. So Gina and I didn't want to spend all of that extra money on that siding. To be honest with you, we didn't have it. So we didn't want to do that. And my solution to that, because I don't like this vinyl siding, my solution to that is I've planted all around the foundation of the house where you're going to see this siding, I've planted evergreens. And they're all going to grow up to the height, at least, of where the siding is and hide it. And that's my future plan for these garden beds. And you won't even see that vinyl siding. And then this porch is taking up pretty much a good bit of the front and this side of the house. So it hides the siding. So these wintergreen boxwoods are going to make like another little wall here that's going to hide that siding. So are those arborvitaes. I've come in front of that with gumpo azaleas, white. And then I've got these spaces here, like in front of those boxwoods, I can come back and add a ground cover. And I'm either going to be doing that this fall or possibly next spring. Then here we've got another gardenia, which is evergreen. I've got these Vaccinium Dorawise, these Rosa Blush, and I transplanted all of these. So they're kind of not filled out that great, but they'll fill out good. This is a real pretty camellia. It's a white. This one was October Magic Snow, I believe. But it's going to fill up this whole corner, maybe hide that downspout gutter. And more vacciniums. And then as you come around to the corner here, I did have 3 arborvitaes here so that they could get tall and kind of fill up this corner here. But they're not doing well. The drought got them. So I've got to come back and replace these this fall. This is a little drift rose apricot, which I love it. Then as you come around, we've got more limelight hydrangeas. And then we're back to where we started. Thanks for joining me today, guys, for a tour of the cottage gardens around our house. Y'all stay tuned because the next video is going to be a tour of the potager garden. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video.